Hey guys, how's it going? Ghostly Rich here today, and today I'm going to be working on this Jeep Cherokee XJ. As you can see, let's say you have a fresh one here, and you're like, oh, I've got the stock, what do I do? Just grab the bottom corner, pull out. Do it on both sides if you really need to. You can grab it, slide it out of the way, and oh look. Screw, and look it. It's a good thing we have a new dash kit, because when you off-road with these ones, they tend to break. So I'm glad we have a new one here for a new dash kit. Put that in there, and yeah, all you're gonna do is loosen these two bolts, pop this out, and then I'll show you how to solder the harness. Once you got your 10 mil, go ahead and pull it out. And that one, which is already broken, so that one won't matter. But for you, if you're doing this, just pop those two out and get these out of here. Once you unbundle these, it's literally just matching up the colors. You can see you have an Illumination Wire, you have, which is only for some decks. Let's see, does this deck have it? No, we do not have an Illumination Wire, so we won't need that. And then as you can also see, let's break these down for you. The white ones are your front, this one right here is your one of your fronts. Let's see, this is your left. This is your front left, gray is your right. These are both your negatives because they have the black line through it. Red is your switched accessory, illumination is orange and white, yellow is constant power, and then you will see on here that you have the other side of those two, and then you have the green, which I can't remember if it's left or right. It says so right on the wire. It'll tell you it is rear left. Green is rear left, and then purple is rear right. So if you're diagnosing a problem, now you know. Purples are and whatnot. And then you have this one, which is for a power antenna, not to be confused with hooking up to your amplifier remote turn on if you're doing an amp like I am. So when you're going through your harness, you'll see one that might just say amp turn on. If it doesn't say, this is for a remote, not the same as an antenna. So if you have a powered antenna, right there, antenna control. This one should be good here. So the next thing that you should take a look at after you've taken a look is, see how this ground wire is a little longer? Leave it long, because in the XJ you have to, you can either put a blade connector on it, or you can just solder it right to the ground wire that's there, or you can put it onto your own frame piece, but that's the only one that isn't on these harnesses. So just go ahead and match them up just like they did here. See how they have a bladed connector? That's so it can slide right in if you don't want to cut and solder or crimp in the vehicle. And then literally it's just color matched. The only one, like I said, that you might not use is the illumination. There's also sometimes a remote turn on or steering wheel control. I would, mute in this case, but you would just leave these ones bundled up how they are if you're not going to use them. And then, like, let's say for illumination on the deck side, I would just trim that off, just cut just the little tip off if you don't have a deck that has illumination. But other than that, just wire it up. For me, I'm probably not going to be using the stock speaker wires. So in that case, I will not be hooking up the deck end of the speakers. That's why I'm showing you this complete harness, because literally off this, I'm only going to be using the remote turn on. I'm going to be using the ground and the two powers, and that's it. So from this point, see that barb right there? Let's show you right here how it just, you can see a little bit of body through that barb. So we're going to bend that one up, and then we'll bend up this one, and then do the same down here. You'll have one barb, which is going to stick out a little bit more, which is this one right here. You can see it right there. So you just take a little flat blade or a pick tool and you bend it up and make it so it barbs behind the plastic here, so it cannot be removed from here. Once you do that, there's two ways you can do this. You can either just preload the deck into here, which is what I'm going to do. Make sure those two tabs are bent in like that so they lock in properly. and then you just slide your deck in. And again, if you want to, you can first bolt this into the deck, make sure nothing's going to interfere and everything's good. Next thing I would suggest is just emptying your glove box, because we're going to take out these two rubber pieces right here. That's going to allow us to do is flip our glove box down to get at things. Oh look, more surprises. Alright, so that's the ground, just solder onto there. Ignore my wiring. Like I said, I'm doing a different system than you might be. If you have an amplifier, then you would do what I did, which I only used the power, the constant, and the ground, and then I have a remote wire that goes to turn on my amps, and then I have all my RCAs. So from this point, we're going to bolt in our DIN kit, and then we can plug in our stuff and slide it in. Things to look for is you're going to want your antenna plugged in, and then you also have that microphone. What I would do, and what I like to do, is just clip the microphone right on the top of the dash kit here, and then when you sync it in, the microphone is right here, and it's not near the window, so that way if you're driving with the window open and you get a phone call and you quickly answer, then you don't have to worry about wind noise. If you take a look, the other two things you want to do is quickly fish these two USBs. Just toss the deck up there. All I did is I tossed it behind the climate controls, popped it in through here, and I popped them both out right here. So at this point, if I want to, I can actually put my glove backs back up. Plug in your aux, if you have an aux. Plug in your microphone, and I have it just bundled there, and the microphone sitting up there. I will take care of that when I clip that on. And then for me, since I have an amplifier, I have all my RCAs plugged in, and just remember which ones went where if you have an amplifier, because if you don't remember, then your fronts could end up as your rears, and your rears could end up as your fronts, and you might try to set subnotes to the wrong thing. So definitely make sure that's taken care of. And so as we're lifting this up, we're going to plug in our antenna because it's a little bit shorter. So lift it up, plug that in, and as we sync everything back, we'll make sure it all sits nicely, and we will go from there. And we'll put these two screws in, and then we can test it. So all I've done is put the key into the on position. We now know that this works. I'm gonna put my foot on the brake, shift this into neutral, and I'm gonna quickly put that cover back on. But this is good that that's working. Once you've clicked it on and you've done all that, you can click on this. You can set up your Bluetooth by hitting Bluetooth mode, select phone, and then you can of course pair through here. Let's see here, color settings, color select. Where is it there? Color select, all zones. Let's just make it blue for right now. Sky blue. All right. That's how you would set that. You can also set the brightness, since this does not have illumination, which is kind of good in some ways. Let's see this for a second. Then we'll hit back, back, system. You can do factory software updates, perfect. You'd have to go with a USB. Perfect, there's the clock. So if you click on here, you can adjust your clock. Just set it to whatever time it is for you. I'm just gonna say 6 here because I think it's around 6. I'm gonna switch that after. You can set the date to, oh, let's leave that as English for sure. Tuner settings. Normal. Perfect. So that's all we're going to touch for right now, and that's how easy it is to set up this deck. Like I said, when you're pairing it, all you have to do is probably click and hit the phone. There is Bluetooth, and then what you can actually do, please pair your phone. Right now you could search your phone's Bluetooth, put in the 0000, and it will connect. And then you can send your music through it by going through this different sources right here. Well, it's not going to go away until after I pair my phone, but you would just go there and then you could press play it over there. But that's a quick look at this deck and how to do a deck install on this vehicle.